This is what you can do about taking control of your own health, a podcast for people interested in learning how to create bodies that are healthy, strong, fit, and disease resistant, as well as exploring why we get sick. I am your host, Sean McClendon. I'm a certified personal trainer. I am an author and a health and fitness enthusiast. Thank you for joining me today. Before we get into this podcast, my featured book for this podcast episode is my book titled What You Can Do About Belly Fat. So almost everyone at some point has wondered how to get rid of belly fat. And for most people, no matter what they do, they can't seem to get it off. So if that's you, check out my book titled What You Can Do About Belly Fat. And in it, you'll learn about why fat accumulates around the midsection. You'll learn the importance of paying attention to what's called visceral fat. And you'll receive key exercise, eating, and lifestyle strategies to help your body target belly fat based on my personal training experience, as well as in my personal experience with my own body, reducing my body fat to around 10%. So if that's relevant to you and you're ready to take steps to go ahead and melt away your belly fat naturally and healthily and keep it away, this is your book. You can search for it on Amazon. You can use the link below in the description to go directly to it and get your copy today. Okay. All right. Very good. All right. So today's topic is 4 mindsets keeping you overweight and sick. 4 mindsets keeping you overweight and sick. This came to me, I think, just yesterday, and I'm excited about talking about it. If you're able to, I encourage you to take notes. I encourage you, if you're not able to take notes, to maybe listen to it a couple of times so you can kind of really get it in you and really consider what I'm saying. Because I'm convinced that these are 4 of the main mindsets that keep many people from ever really getting this health thing. So we're talking about, like I say, weight and health, because these things keep us overweight and sick. Number 1. Okay, now, hold on. Before I say that, though, so I'm about to go all in, but remember my disclaimer, which is the information on this podcast is based on personal research and opinion, and it's not meant to be a substitute for advice from a doctor or a physician. You're advised to consult your doctor or physician before making any changes to your lifestyle. All right, so again, that said, 4 mindsets keeping you overweight and sick. Number 1 is the I don't have time mindset. I don't have time mindset. Very, very common in this very busy world today, that we feel like we just don't have time. We don't have time to work out. We don't have time to meal prep. We don't have time to cook, and pack our lunches and get enough sleep and all this type of stuff. Okay. So I heard somebody say this today, like there are 24 hours in a day for every living human being. Everybody has 24 hours in a day. But for some reason, some of us, we don't have time to actually do things that nurture our health. There's much available to us. Everything we need to be healthy is all around us. You ever think about that? Everything that you need to be healthy is all around you. The food, the fitness stuff, even though you don't even need a gym to be fit. But if you felt like you needed a gym, there are many of them around. All of the things you need are around you. But think about this. If you feel like you don't have time to do the things that you need to do to be healthy and to get trim and get at a weight that's healthy for your body, your height and all that stuff. First of all, you do. You do have time. You do. Like I said, there's 24 hours in a day for everybody. But the truth is, and I say this in love, the truth is that your health is not yet high on your priority list. Health is not your priority yet. Not yet. You may want it very strongly, but it's not on your priority list. So the way I want to prove that to you is I want you to consider the different things that you have to do every day. Work, I'm sure, is very high. It's probably number 1 on the priority list. It's probably number 1. Eating is probably high on your priority list because you got to eat, right? What else? Your favorite TV show. I'm not as privy to all the popular shows these days. I don't really watch a lot of TV at all. I don't really watch any TV. I might look at a couple things on YouTube from time to time, or maybe every now and then on Netflix. But I really am just not in on what's out there. But if you have a favorite show, you know what time it's on, and you're gonna separate or section off your time such that you get your show in, right? So you have time for that. And so the point I'm wanting to make is, if you prioritize whatever you prioritize, it's like you carve out the time for it. And so really making the time to exercise, or making the time to prepare your food from scratch, or whatever it may be, it's just a matter of you making the time for it, just like you make time for everything else. And like, I know it kind of seems, because sometimes it seems that way for me, too. But I know it kind of seems like, yeah, but just think about it. It really is that way. Even now, after I record this podcast, it's time for me to go outside and work out. And one of the workouts that I've been aiming to do lately is go outside and do yard work, because I consider yard work working out, physical activity, and I'm doing something to maintain um, my family's investment, which is this home. And so it's one of my workouts for the day. So, but I feel like I need to really get to work, especially being an entrepreneur. It's always something to do. But like, I have to force myself sometimes to go ahead and go out there and do what I need to do what I need to do, create this routine, because it really matters. Because the thing is, we all know that maintaining our bodies matters, but we keep on waiting for something, and we keep on again thinking that the stars are going to align, and all of a sudden we're just going to miraculously have time to do the things that we need to do for our health. But that's not the way it works. Like, you actually have to make the time. I know it's cliche, but I just want you to really consider it today. The thing about this, a lot of times people who are looking to get in shape and all this kind of stuff, a lot of times you have somebody you admire who's like, you know, who's doing all of this stuff, who's very much in shape and healthy looking and healthy overall. But those people that you admire, they put time in their bodies because they prioritize the time, they've prioritized health. And they've actually done that at the expense of something else that would be taking up those time slots. They have. They have. A lot of people kind of talk about celebrities and talk about, well, if I had their money, I had their time. But they really could spend that time trying to get other gigs and things like that, if you think about it. And I'm sure they have time for that. But like, the main person I keep on thinking about these days is Angela Bassett, because she's legendary not only in her stellar acting, her stellar career, but also in how well she maintains her body, because she's in her 60s now, and she looks the same way she did whenever I first remember her, like what, about 35 years ago. I don't know, somewhere around there. Well, probably not that far back. Actually, probably about 30 years ago. She looks the same. She looks the same. But then whenever you look if you look on YouTube and you see her talk about her routine, is meticulous. It's something she separates out time for, because like, her being in shape and healthy is important for her to maintain her career. It's important for her to take care, of her family. So that's the first mindset, the I don't have time mindset. It's not true. Second mindset is, it don't take all that. Now, I'm guilty of saying that myself with some things in the past, but here in the past few years, I've kind of tried to not really say that, because what I've come to realize is, it probably does take all that, or at least it might take all that. It might. Think about it. When you say it don't take all that, a lot of times you're looking at somebody who seems to, from your perspective, be doing something extreme. Okay. Now, I will say, I kind of have you. You got to decide what you want. You have to decide whatever it is that you actually want. What are you aiming for with your body, with your health? Decide what you're aiming for, first of all. Because I know for me, there are some ways that people work out and whatnot that I have personally decided myself, I'm not doing that. That's extreme in my opinion. That is kind of excessive in my opinion. The type of body that the person may have, or whatever. Like people who are like, you see these videos of people who are in the gym, not just using the gym equipment, but they're I don't know, for example, like doing squats with weight benches, or doing pull-ups, and they have like a whole like exercise bike strapped onto their waist some kind of way. That is kind of weird and dangerous. I think that is just kind of like, that's just social media. That's for likes, in my opinion. But that said, there are some things I wouldn't necessarily do on the exercise side of things, and even on the nutritional side of things, because I have my own reasons. But that said, if you decide what you want, and then you see somebody who has the type of health, the type of body that you want, but they seem to be doing things extreme, be careful saying that it don't take all that, because it may, or at least it may take something that's more so akin to that. But the main thing to be really conscious of is, whenever you say it don't take all that, when you say that, what you're likely indicating is that this is like something that you don't want to do, and therefore you may have indicated that you're not going to reach your goal. You may have decided that when you say it don't take all that, because it may actually take all that. So, I'm a big fan of track and field. I'm a big fan of track and field. And I really like the sport itself. And I also am very much admiring the type of physique that track and field builds. You know, but like, when you think about the amount of work that those people put in, hours a day of running around the track, not just running around the track. So they might have a track workout that's 2 or 3 hours, but then they may have done a weight workout in the morning, and they might have also like other things they do with their body later on, like stretching and all this kind of. They're putting in hours a day, like probably 2 to 4 or more hours a day, to be at the level that they're at. You think about Michael Phelps, the swimmer, who apparently was doing, he was working out 6 hours a day. So you can't say, but think about the kind of results he got. Like, he was the most decorated um Olympian in the single Olympics back in, was it 2008, I want to say. So you can't really say it don't take all that, and you're not really getting those type of results. It took all that for him to be an Olympian at that level. You see what I'm saying? So that's mindset number 2. That keeps us overweight and sick. Mindset number 3 is, it's harder for me because my age. It's like, I'm at an age now where, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's harder for me because, being a female, I can't really lose the weight and all this kind of stuff. Now, I say both of those things delicately and carefully. So just really hear me out on this. So first of all, let me say this. Age actually is a factor to a degree, because it is true that as time goes on, our bodies change. Our bodies, you get certain ages and whatnot, and the way that your body responds to things is a little bit different. It's a little different. You may not necessarily have like the same repair capability that a child does. Kids have stem cells that are kind of like causing them to grow and to develop and whatnot. Well, adults do too. Adults do too. It's just not the same. But that said, even though age is somewhat of a factor, like, you even have stuff like the progressive loss of muscle and bone with age. But keep in mind, though, with that what we know as aging is not really inevitable. It is more so due to lifestyle. It's due to lifestyle. So what you thought was just natural aging, more likely is not. Because think about this. So I was just talking about how there is a difference between being a child and an adult and the way that the body repairs itself and responds and whatnot. However, a lot of times we have been abusing our bodies since childhood. And so it is a credit to the body for its amazing resilience, to kind of like be able to power through all the sugar and all the inactivity and all this type of stuff all the way through childhood until you get to a certain age. But like, we're not allowing ourselves to reach our full potential. And like, if you build your body with the right type of stuff, you might be surprised at how well your body and your health hold up with age. But a lot of times we haven't been putting the things in our body to maintain them from the jump. And so we think that we're aging naturally, and we're not. Like, we're literally, it's like our bodies are more so breaking down, and we call that aging. If you don't believe me, definitely look this stuff up. I'm going to be writing another book soon. Spoiler alert, so to speak, where I'm going to talk about some of these type of things more in depth. But like, we've been getting this aging stuff wrong. What we think is aging is more so just kind of like bad habits catching up with us. But again, think about Angela Bassett. Think about Ernestine Shepherd. And there's many others who are like incredible, like have incredible health, incredible physiques and whatnot. And they're like at ages that we would think that, it's all done. Okay. And so think about that. It's more so in how aging is not necessarily what we thought it was. It's just we saw something based on the American lifestyle. Okay? So think about that. Age is a factor, but it's not nearly as much of a factor as we've been thinking. Gender is a factor. So yeah, I'll be the first to say there is for sure a difference between male and female, the way our bodies respond, our hormones and whatnot. So you really got to think about that. I absolutely agree with that. Because the female body has a lot of things going on, a lot of different type of hormonal things that happen, and then even you factor in like giving birth to children and all that type of stuff. It's a lot of things that go on in the female's body that don't go on in the male's body. And then just like the testosterone's a reason that males, for example, tend to have an easier time losing weight over females. So it doesn't mean that, so females do have testosterone, but it's in much lower amounts. Okay. So that said, though, I think the issue there is that we probably have been treating bodies the same way. We're kind of making like a male body almost like the standard, instead of understanding, like the Bible says, that God made man and he made man male and female. So it's like we each are human, but we have different type of things going on. We have different needs. So my point is, while there is a difference, if the female body gets what it needs, then it will respond. It will. The main point that I'm making is, so I guess what I'm saying is, like, a lot of times what we've kind of considered like, well, it's tougher, because I'm female and whatnot. It's probably because we've been treating all bodies the same, which is wrong. But that's why what we have to do is don't really focus on, like, find out what you need. Find out what you need, and your body will respond. Your body will respond. Your body is made to adapt. It's made to respond. We have a lot of things that influence hormones and stuff and cause weight gain and whatnot. And, it is just different. It's just different. So, but if you give your body what it needs, and you have to focus on what you and your body need, then your body will respond. All right. So I could go on further and further with that, but the main thing I want to say is, stuff like age and gender are definitely factors, but you have to be careful to not make them excuses, because then you'll be like, well, I can't do this because blank, blank, blank with me, and it's not necessarily the case because there's still people out there making it happen. So you can see how age and even gender can kind of become things that just they almost become like excuses. And so again, I say this in all humility and whatnot, but I think that this is the type of thing that if you really consider it the right way, you'll be able to kind of see how you can indeed get the results you desire with your health and all that. The fourth and last thing I want to say with this, so I don't make this podcast too long, is the mindset of I can't give up my blank. I can't give up this. I can't give up that. I can't give up juice. I can't give up my bread. I can't give up my coffee. I can't give up my whatever. That is a mindset keeping you overweight and sick. What you've indicated when you say you can't give something up, you've indicated you've drawn the line. If it takes me giving up this, I can't do it because I can't see myself doing that. So, and you've also indicated that whatever that thing is, you've indicated that you've given up power. You've given power to that thing over you. So it has power over you. I think about the Bible scripture that where Paul is saying, food for the body and the body for food, but I won't be mastered by anything. I think it's in one of the Corinthians. I can't remember where. I should have looked it up. Food for the body, but I won't be mastered by anything. And so he basically seemed to be indicating like, it's like you can, like autonomy over yourself is of key importance. Like you should be free and there should be nothing holding you back. But if a food, a drink, a TV show or whatever is something that you can't see yourself being able to give up, then it has power over you. A lot of times we feel these ways, and it's because we're so used to like listening to the voice of our cravings. We're so used to listening to our feelings. And if this is you feeling like you can't give something up, that feeling, that voice of that craving is very, very loud inside of you. Very loud inside of you. And to be honest, it might be an indication of you needing to fast. Personal experience. Whenever it's something that you feel like you can't give something up, then it's probably a sign that you need to fast. And this is speaking to me right now. Because when you intentionally fast and break away from something, then that craving will break off of you. It will. I promise you it will, because it's happened with me. It has. Keep this in mind too. The way you feel, like your feelings are not the same thing as like choice. They're not the same. You can feel very strongly a certain way, like I really want a Snickers bar or something like that. You can feel that, but that's not the same as your choice. Your choice is like the real you actually saying, I will do this or I will do that. You can feel one way and then make a choice to do something else that's good for you. You see? But sometimes the feeling is so strong that we just kind of give our ability to choose over to that feeling. And that's where a lot of times we end up messing up. So I've had people tell me I can't really give up my juice. I can't do that. I gotta do that. And so it's kind of like, okay, so the juice has a power over you because it's not because it's something that you need for medical reasons. It's not because of anything that you really need for any reason. It's more so because you're probably like, oh, well, but I really like that. I can't just drink regular water, even though you can. Even though water at the end of the day is what you actually need. You just really, really, really like that thing. And it's hard for you to see getting that out of your regular routine. And therefore, what you've done is you've essentially said, again, like I said before, you're not going to get the results that you want because you can't get this thing up. And so therefore you draw on the line and you don't want it bad enough. That's what you've done. I'm just saying it is. Remember, choice is a black and white type of thing. Choice it's kind of like, I always call it binary. Because being an engineer, we learned about computer code, and the very basic computer code is the ones and zeros, like binary code. It's either 0 or 1, on or off, yes or no. That's it. So you either do something or you don't do it. And that's really the basic of it. Feelings gonna feel whatever kind of way, but you have to understand that the actual choice is binary. It's black and white. It's a yes or it's a no. I'm gonna do it or I'm not gonna do it. And when you realize that, you can just make that choice in that moment. Now your feelings are gonna feel very contrary, but they're feelings. And what happens is they eventually fall in line. So if you are having a hard time, I don't know, getting to bed on time, that's something that I'm actually having to work on myself. Or not eating something that you crave a lot. If you're having a hard time with that, you just have to like go ahead and just decide in the moment, this is what I'm doing. And just tell your body you need to get in check. You need to get in line because this is what this is what we're doing today. And your feelings are gonna protest and make you feel like you can't do without whatever stuff. But just ride it on through, and I promise you, it'll get better. Okay, so that's pretty much it. The 4 mindsets are: I don't have time. It don't take all that. It's harder for me because of my age, my gender, whatever, and I can't give up something. Those are 4 mindsets that keep us overweight and sick. And if you're willing to really confront those and exercise your executive power to choose differently, to make the time, to actually do what it takes instead of saying it don't take all that, to not make your age or your gender or anything else for that matter an excuse, and to go ahead and choose to give up something knowing that you can give it up for the sake of getting the health that is available to you, the weight that you desire, then you're gonna experience the health that you desire. You're going to reach the health that you want to reach. I mean, the weight that you want to reach. Okay, and I really sincerely believe it's that simple. All right, so that's been it. That's been it for this. That is it rather for this episode of what you can do about taking control of your health. Share this episode. If it's been enlightening to you, then share it with somebody you know it could help. Share it on social media, all that type of stuff. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast. Make sure you like this episode. Don't forget to get your copy of What You Can Do About Belly Fat on Amazon and using the description below, the link in the description below. And yep, that'll do it. Just remember, your doctor's not responsible for your health. You are. God bless you.